Hello, my name is Sylvia Warner, and I'm the president of the Nameless Hollow Association. In August of 2022, a survey was sent to the owners on Town Square with 6 questions. This survey was to come up with a constructive and fiscally responsible way to address years of deferred property maintenance and increasing cost. After reviewing the survey results and the association's annual budget, along with suggestions from you, the owners, the board worked with the association's attorney to draft an update to the declarations that govern our community. The restated declarations reduce the association's responsibilities and provide a path to a healthier financial position. By passing these proposed changes, the board will be able to focus on the infrastructure, water, septic system, roads, signage, mailboxes that all need attention. I am now going to have the association treasurer, John Warner, discuss the following slides and the reasons why these proposed declarations are needed and their benefits.
The proposed declaration for Article 2, Section 2.02 is shown on the left-hand side of this slide. This is what has been presented to the board by the attorney. On the right is a brief summary of why it is important to vote yes to this declaration. I will pause to give you a chance to read the proposed change. Among the things the association is currently responsible for includes siding, roofs, and decks. The proposed change would shift responsibility of all unit maintenance to the unit owner. Why would such a change be proposed? In a word, money. The association does not have the funding to repair or maintain the exterior of 35 buildings, 70 roofs, and 70 decks. Nor do we have the funding to pay a full-time maintenance manager to manage all the needed repairs, let alone pay contractors to perform the work. The association is limited to the amount of dues that can be raised per year. Raising dues beyond this amount currently requires a 75% affirmative vote by all owners. Even if we voted to double our monthly dues, we would never have enough money to maintain, let alone repair 35 buildings. We have been turned down for loans and credit cards because we simply do not have enough revenue to have the amount of savings we should. Our association should have several $100,000 in savings. Instead, we will be lucky to have enough saved to pay the $15,000 down payment for our insurance this November. On this slide, we have a proposed change to Article 3, Section 3.06, subsection B, Section 2. It's pretty straightforward. Given the dire financial situation of the association, 2 big things have to happen. We've already spoken about the transferring maintenance responsibilities to unit owners. The second big change is insurance. Insurance is the #1 expense for the association. As things stand, the association barely has the money to cover the deductible if we had to make a claim. Covering that deductible would completely drain the association accounts, which would result in multiple special assessments. Transferring responsibility for the insurance to the unit owner would free up a ton of money. That savings could be put back into things like building our savings account, mailboxes, and road improvements. Based on insurance shopping that some of us have done, this would result in a monthly increase of approximately $50 to an owner's existing insurance bill. In order for this to pass, we would need 100% of our owners to agree to this change. On this slide, we have the proposed changes to Article 4, Section 4.03. A vote in the affirmative here would cause the text in red to be eliminated. When monetary needs for an association exceed the available budget or there is a surprise expense, a special assessment is needed. As a board, we are limited to no more than 5% of the annual budget for special assessments. For 2023, our budget is $221,298, which means the maximum amount of special assessment we can do is $11,064. We could do multiple special assessments, but we cannot exceed the total of $11,064. A special assessment for the well situation in 2022 should have been performed to offset the roughly $27,000 it took to repair the well. Regrettably, the work had to be done immediately, so there wasn't time for all the paperwork required for a special assessment. By Texas law, you cannot have a retroactive special assessment. The association is just out of the money. In December and January, there were two unexpected water line repairs that cost the association approximately $7,000. At that point, the board was praying hard for no more expensive repairs. In February, we began experiencing problems with septic tanks overflowing, and we were reported to the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, or TCEQ. We spent $970 to clean just one tank, and approximately $3,800 to clean three other tanks. The second three tanks took a full 8-hour workday to clean. We have 35 septic tanks in fields. If you're keeping track of the math, that's $38,770 of unplanned spend on a budget of $221,298, or a 17.5% unwelcome surprise. In February, the board was forced to do a special assessment. It became obvious that a special assessment was needed to deal with the long-term neglect and ongoing owner and tenant abuse of our septic systems. We have spent roughly $3,400 to clean another three tanks. It's another full workday. That means we have spent roughly $8,170 this year to clean 7 of our 35 septic tanks. Due to age and overuse, septic experts advise all of our tanks should be cleaned annually. In short, the remaining $7,600 of special assessment isn't going to cover the other 28 tanks, but the association can't do another special assessment. The 5% limitation for special assessments currently has the board stuck. Our aging infrastructure needs meticulous care, and that requires money. Eliminating this 5% limitation is the only way we're going to get there. On this slide and the next, we have the proposed changes to Article 5 regarding bulk services and trash. Trash is the number 2 expense for the association. We are contracted with our current trash provider through October 31st, 2025. The contract was signed in 2010 as a 5-year contract in direct violation of our existing declarations. This contract automatically renews in 5-year increments. We are required to notify the trash vendor 6 months prior to the contract end if we wish to terminate the contract. This proposed change will allow for the association to bill unit owners monthly, quarterly, or annually to offset the average expense of $26,400. It is important to note this change covers any bulk service. For example, should we have a drought that causes the well to dry up and the association has to buy bulk water to fill the water tank, or contracting to pick up branches down from ice storms, this expense would be absorbed equally to the owners. No special assessment would be needed. Trash is another situation where residents have abused a service without consequence. From a legal perspective, it is difficult to prosecute illegal dumping. It costs the association to hire a contractor to remove bulk items left by residents. With our current finances, we can only afford bulk pickup about once per quarter. The only way to put an end to this and save the association money is eliminate the requirement that the association provide trash services. The association would still shop for the trash provider, but it would be up to the resident to contact the trash company to set up service. Residential bins would be utilized instead of the dumpsters. Passing this responsibility to the resident would cost approximately $31 to $40 per month per unit for trash.
On this slide, the topic of water comes back up. My husband and I have owned out there for 12 years, and this community has always provided our water and wastewater services with no additional direct charge to the owners/tenants. Unfortunately, these free services have cost the community dearly in lost revenues, which prevents us from having a regular septic maintenance schedule and the inability to address plumbing leaks in an expeditious manner. This proposal will give the association the right to charge for both of these services through the use of something called allocated billing. Allocated billing is a way of billing for water and wastewater without having to install water meters on each of our 70 units. Rates for allocated billing are regulated by the Public Utility Commission of Texas, which means the bill amount will be determined by the PUCT and not your board of directors. This declaration will also allow for the board to have the right to install water meters in the future, which would discontinue allocated billing. At this time, allocated billing is the easiest and the most cost-efficient to implement and could be handled by our current well management company. Currently, having the well professionally managed and maintained costs the association, on average, $2,500 per month. Allocated billing would help offset the cost of managing the well, in addition to the water lines and septic systems. Our water well is considered a public water system, and we are expected to abide to all regulations set by the TCEQ. We need to have the financial means to offset the expense of our water well and wastewater by starting to charge for these two services. In fact, by October 2024, our community is expected to be in compliance with something called the Drinking Water Lead and Copper Program, which is estimated to run us $300 per unit. We are going to have to prove to the TCEQ we are not using any copper or lead in any of our distribution lines. The following proposed declarations on the slide are self-explanatory, and we'll give you a few seconds to read them. These additional proposed declarations, again, are also self-explanatory. Please take a few seconds to read. We hope this presentation sufficiently demonstrates the need for change. Restating these declarations to bring them into the 21st century is desperately needed in order to move the community forward and preserve each owner's equity in their unit. Changing the declarations requires a 75% affirmative vote. This is 53 votes of yes. We will be voting on each of the proposed changes found on this presentation in the very near future. The only path forward is to pass these declarations, and we ask for your votes. Thank you very much for your time and your consideration. If you have any questions, please come to the next board meeting on July 19th at 7 p.m. via Zoom, or feel free to reach out via Town Square and/or call Megan, our community manager. Her contact information can be found on this slide.